Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to talk about return on investment and what that can look like in terms of any type of business. Subway, I'm going to utilize because it's a very well known franchise and an opportunity that makes sense for a lot of people. However, there's also all this internet marketing stuff going on and online opportunities, and they kind of promise the world, but they have no proof behind what they're doing in most cases. And I think it's very important that we balance our hope with reality as well, and what things can look like. So let's look at Subway first, because this is an interesting opportunity. In order to, the franchise fee for Subway is $10,000 to $15,000. I thought it was more than that. I actually thought it was 75,000. Maybe it used to be, but this is not. You might look at this and be like, oh, cool, I can start a Subway franchise for only $10,000. No, that's just a franchise fee. And then on top of that, you've got the royalty and the advertising fees. Now, Subway does a pretty good job of advertising for their franchisees who know nothing about marketing, and they know that. And a lot of those franchisees may think they know what they're doing, so they might buy something else. But marketing is a department, and if you've never worked in a marketing department, then you have no business claiming you know how to market. No matter what Forbes tells you is easy or Inc. tells you is easy, it's not. It's a very hard process. But you're looking at 12.5% every week, gross sales minus sales tax, 8% going towards the franchise royalties, and 4.5% only going towards advertising. Maybe why you see a bunch of empty franchises everywhere you go for Subway, which probably also isn't going to help with your bottom line. So they have this great question on here too. How much does it cost to open a Subway restaurant? I love this, by the way. There's nothing wrong with the numbers that you're seeing and what's going on. I just don't think that it's as awesome of an opportunity as many people would hope. But more importantly, too many people are addicted to the reality. They think that they're going to open some digital marketing program or company and win big and get rich faster than they think. And it's ultimately a get rich quick wish when you go into it with that as the mindset that you want to make money. That's not why I do what I do. I do what I do because I love what I do. I hope you can see this PDF. This is also from Subway. And here it breaks down some of the capital requirements. So this is broken down in euros, but just know that if what we just saw is true, of 10,000 to 15,000, then we can safely say this number is a little bit higher. But let's just leave it where it's at. Let's just say that your costs are the exact same. So you get your franchise fee of 7,500 to 10,000 euros, or let's just pretend that's dollars because it's almost the same roughly. We're talking about large money here. Your real property fees are probably going to be somewhere between 2,500. It's going to ruin my recording. I'll have the copyright for that song. All right, 2,500 to 16,000. Your leasehold improvements, 25,000 to 69,000. Your equipment that you need will cost 40,000 to 65,000, and I can keep going. But you're looking at 100,000 to $217,000 in total investments to get a Subway franchise going. And that leads us to look at, well, wait a second. When am I going to recoup my costs on this? When will I see my return on investment? And while we can't take the internet at face value, for estimate's sake, it's not a bad idea to consider that, okay, if an owner of a Subway is making $127,000 per year, good for them, then it's going to take a total of 7.3 years to recoup their investment. So in other words, what you put into it, you got to stay with it and be dedicated to it for 7.5 years, at which point you start to make your first dollars of profitability and can start to feel like a franchise owner and start to feel like you did the right thing. And that's good. Like 7.3 years, I'm 36 years old. That would mean by the time I'm 45, like I've got a good thing going for myself. And plus the prestige of having the franchise from the get-go. If you feel like, I know a lot of people would frown and say that's not cool to be a sandwich shop owner, but I think it's pretty cool. And more importantly, what I want to help people realize is there are lots of internet opportunities where you can make a whole lot of money a whole lot faster than that. But just be careful to go in level headed. Be careful knowing that if you're not spending on what it is that you're doing, if you're not, and when I say spending, I'm talking that 10,000, 20,000 more so 30, 40, 50. I don't want to scare you, but I'm serious. Why do you think that you can build a vision without investing in the infrastructure of that vision? And why do you think that you're qualified to just build it with your time without actually having a team and without actually knowing what you're doing to build those systems up? Just because you can create a website for free and it's pretty easy to create one doesn't mean it's easy to create one that actually converts people to buying from you. And just because you, I don't know, led a team of Boy Scouts or you led a church group or something does not make you an executive leader for a team that you have to pay and keep inspired in order to provide the type of hospitality and services and strategic growth and have the same type of mindset you have as a business owner of growing and scaling your business. It's not an easy process, no matter what model you go down. But there are models that are more secure in life. And again, if you're just looking blanket, you're not really going to do your research and you're like, oh, well, do I go with a digital marketing firm or some JV affiliate program that promises the world, or do I go with a Subway franchise? If you're going to keep it that surface level, then go with a Subway franchise. Otherwise, you're just going to disappoint yourself over and over again. You're going to end up in a ton of debt, even though you're promised the world. On the flip side, if you're actually going to look into it, you're going to be a responsible business owner and you're going to pay attention to what it is that you're doing, and I highly recommend looking at your digital marketing opportunities that align with your passions and your purpose. If you're not aligned with your passions and your purpose, you'll burn out, or worse, what if you don't burn out and you stick to it for 30 to 40 years and then you look back on life with regrets? So your return on investment is multifaceted. You want to look at the return on investment in terms of the money, the financial gain that you'll get in relation to it, but also in terms of, did you end up creating the lifestyle that you wanted for yourself and get the types of freedoms that you want? I will be completely honest with you. While the monetary side can be fairly difficult to get to a point of the same type of stability you would have as a C-level executive, I would never trade the balance that I've had for my family, the time that I have with my kids. We're going to two trunk or treats tonight and tomorrow. I got to go to the Spurs game the other night. I get to take my kids to the coast. I get to, if my kids are sick, I can go be there for them and with them without having to worry about checking with a boss. There's all sorts of intangible realities. The networking that I get to do, the types of people I get to be around, the time I get to spend on self-awareness and personal development, on helping others become their best selves. None of that would be worth giving up for the corporate security that could be pulled away from you at any time if layoffs occur in that company, because the people you've entrusted to run that company, you don't really know them, and you're just another number, or you're just a liability when it comes time to cutting costs. When you're the business owner, yes, you're always the head liability for yourself, but you do have a great sense of security in that if you do your best and everything works out according to, in my opinion, God's will too, then you're in a really good position to enjoy a stability that, while it's not the same as what the world sees as stability, it's one that I will never take for granted. So I wish you the best as you consider your different opportunities. And whether that means going the franchise route with something like a Subway, or pursuing your passion and your purpose and building out the the dream that your heart and mind says you really need to build. And if that's you, then like I said, be prepared to invest in it. Don't shortchange your vision. Don't try to move it forward without actually putting in both the effort and the cash contribution that you need to really get that off the ground in solid fashion. And make sure you research the teams that you're going to be working with before you do that too. You don't want to end up working with somebody who is a yes man and that just tells you, oh yeah, we can do that too. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Oh, yeah, you're concerned about that. We are too. Let's not do that. There's lots of ways to be a yes man, and most of them are pretty crafty about how they do that. So be aware. You got to do some great research in order to make sure you're well prepared to lead a team, and find programs that will help you to learn leadership attributes, that will help you learn how to hire, that will help you learn how to recruit great people, and what the job market value is for those different roles, and what the job descriptions should look like, and the scope of work should look like for them, and the type of metrics that they should be hitting, that you should be measuring to make sure they go. How do you fire people? How do you help people transition when it's time for an exit, and how do you make that a mutually beneficial process rather than a scary process, or one that creates a problem for them, for you, for everybody involved. You don't want things like that to explode in your face. So those are all things to consider. Have a fantastic day, and best wishes building out your vision. Bye-bye.